Hey everyone, it's Nicole again, and I'm here to film the second part of my April wrap-up. So I didn't read as many things in the second half of April. I started reading a book and I wasn't that into it, and it just kind of like threw off my reading schedule. So I read 6 things. One of them was a poetry book, one of them was a novella. 3 were volumes of comics, and 1 was a single issue comic. So the first thing I read was Gotham Academy Volume 1, which I keep calling Arkham Academy. That's not the same thing. And this is in the DC universe. I always mix them up, but the DC universe, and it's about this group of teenagers who are going to a boarding school in Gotham. And one of them is, they are on like a scholarship from Bruce Wayne, who's Batman, and they're just kind of like solving mysteries. It has a very like Scooby-Doo-ish vibe, in that it's like all these teenagers and they're like solving mysteries, but it's like in the DC universe. And then as they're in a boarding school, there's a little Harry Potter-esque, as there is some magical aspects to it, although I'm still learning how much. And then it also has like really good art and a very diverse cast of characters. Pretty much all of the main characters are people of color, so that's cool. And then the second thing I read, which is the reason that I read Gotham Academy, is the first issue of the Lumberjanes and Gotham Academy crossover. Lumberjanes did a crossover with somebody else, and I thought it was pretty cute. And this one seemed like it was like a school setting. I knew a little bit of Gotham Academy, so I wanted to read the first volume before I read this first issue. And it's like a really great crossover idea, like all the characters go together very well. But I wasn't that really into the art. But I actually just picked up the volume that contains the first 5 issues of the crossover. So I'm going to read through that because it looks like the artist might change. So. And then I read Binti Home by Nnedi Okorafor. And this one took me a little while to get through, even though it's only like a novella. It's like maybe 100 pages long. So this is the second novella in a series, so I don't want to talk about it too much, but it's about this girl, Binti, who gets accepted to this school that's on a different planet, and she's the only one in her tribe that has ever left the planet, so her family doesn't want her to go, but she ends up going. And that's the first book. Hi, Maggie! And the second book is her dealing with repercussions of a traumatic event that happens in the first book. And it goes, the reason it like took me a while to get through is because it's like goes into like her dealing with her PTSD, and she's having panic attacks, which is something that I deal with, so it was like a little hard to read about them because she did a really good job describing them, but it was like a little too much to read at some points, so just wanted to let you guys know if any of you guys deal with that sort of thing. That might be something to look out for. Make sure you're reading it when you're in a good mood. But overall, I really like this. I actually liked it a lot better than the first one. So I feel like the first one not that much happened, but kind of a lot happened in this one. And I feel like it really filled the novella, you know? Alright, and then the second thing I read was Hench Girl, Volume 1. And this is by Kristen Gudsnick, I think is her name. And this is a very large volume. It's over there, I don't want to get it right now. But this is an independent comic that I have the first 3 or 4 issues of. I got them when I was in New York or Boston, because that's where she's from. And Dark Horse, who's a comic publisher, picked the story up, and they published it in a volume. So it's a really large volume. Like, it's larger than most. I would say it's like 2 volume size. Those like 10 issues. And it's about this low-level hench girl. It's like a world where there's superheroes everywhere and supervillains, and she is just the hench girl in a villainous gang of like pickpockets and robbers. Yeah, and it's about just kind of her being in her early 20s and the shenanigans she gets into. And it's a really good series. I'm so happy that I saw that they had it in volumes because I really wanted to know more about her. And then I read Gotham Academy, the second volume. I got them both from the library. This one was definitely more of a filler volume. The first one was really good at like, establishing all the characters, and this one I feel like is just filler for whatever's gonna happen in the next one, which is not available from the library yet. Yeah, but I'm definitely curious to see what is going on with the series. And then I read a poetry book called Where the Words End and My Body Begins by Amber Dawn. And I had heard of Amber Dawn before. She's a poet who came out with a nonfiction memoir. I think it's called like How Poetry Saved My Life or something. And it's about her growing up and how poetry saved her life. And I saw it. I actually didn't realize that she wrote this novel, Sub Rosa. That was her first novel. And it's one that I like randomly stumbled upon in a bookstore once. And I kind of like always had it in the back of my mind. But I kind of had forgotten about it till recently, so that was kind of neat. So I got that one, but then I just kind of was in the mood for poetry, so I read her poetry collection, and I really liked the topics. It deals like with a lot of topics of sexuality and like protest and growing up and stuff. But some of the poems, they kind of were a little lacking in terms of like readability. They didn't really like roll off your tongue very well. It was like very, I don't know, like not poetic. But not all of them. So like it was like a pretty solid poetry collection, but I definitely want to check out her novel because I feel like her writing might be better for novel writing, for prose. So those are the 6 things that I read in the second half of April. And let me know what you read in the second half of April, and if you read any of these things. Hopefully that's not as long as normal because I didn't read as many things. And I'll also be filming a TBR this month, so watch out for that. And I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!